The house in the middle of the street. By early evening, Rebecca heard a sturdy knocking at their front door. She peeked out the window on either side of the door and saw two children standing there, a boy and a girl, both dressed formally, though their clothes were somewhat wrinkled and a bit soiled. She imagined it was from a day of play. The boy was dressed in a long dark gray pant, a light gray button-up dress shirt with a white ribbon tied around his neck, like a simple bow tie. He wore suspenders and a gray suit jacket. He stood in worn, buckled shoes that needed a good polish. The girl wore a beige prairie dress with brown lace-up boots and a deep-colored wool church coat. Her long brown hair parted in the middle and tied in pigtails, gathered with white ribbon at each end that fell well below her shoulders. They looked quite rumpled for children of this neighborhood. They saw Rebecca looking at them through the glass pane. The young girl, looking about 11 years old, smiled and waved. Rebecca waved back and opened the door to greet them. "Well, hello there," said Rebecca.
"Hello. How do you do?"
said the girl. "Just fine, thank you," said Rebecca. "Who may I say I have the pleasure of meeting?" The girl said,
"I am Happy, and this is my younger brother, Virgil."
"Hello, Happy." Rebecca extended her arm to the young girl. They shook hands and smiled gently at each other. Rebecca turned and looked squarely at Virgil. "Hello, young sir," declared Rebecca. She reached her hand out to him. Virgil kept his hands by his side. "Oh, I'm sorry. Is something the matter?" said Rebecca. Happy said,
"Not at all, Mrs."
She waited. "Mrs. Bowreed, my dear," said Rebecca.
"My brother is quite shy, Mrs. Bowreed,"
said Happy,
"and doesn't speak often. He means well enough."
"I understand," said Rebecca. Rebecca looked at Virgil. "That is just fine. How may I help you this evening, children?" Happy said,
"We were skipping by and we smelled your lovely bread baking. We are heading home but still have a ways to go. We thought maybe we could have some."
Virgil tugged on Happy's arm sleeve. Happy turned to him and patted his head.
"He's quite hungry, Mrs. Bowreed,"
said Happy. Just then, Mr. Bowreed came into the entryway holding his newborn daughter. He cuddled her close as he stood beside the family portrait of great-great-aunt Minerva, sitting at a grand piano, the same piano that still lived in the house. Minerva's hands gently laid on the piano keys. Behind her on the windowsill sat a row of simple glass jars with shiny golden lids sealed on top. The newborn was lovingly wrapped in a soft white blanket. Only her eyes and the tip of her nose peeked out. The newborn made a sweet little cooing sound. Virgil tugged on Happy's arm sleeve. Happy patted him once again. Happy and Virgil looked at the little one and returned a hearty cooing sound straight back to the baby girl, though instead of sweet baby coos, they sounded more like squawks of a bird. Of course, these sounds made the baby cry. Mr. Bowreed looked into the wide faces of young Happy and Virgil standing at his door. He looked at their worn shoes and dirt-smudged faces. He noticed their hands were quite slender and their nails unkempt and a bit too long. He hushed his baby with warm cuddles. "Rebecca," said Mr. Beaureed.